as you guys are logging into the quiz, I'll post it again in the chat for new people. As you can see, you guys are being put in with these randomly generated names. That is an option that you can choose when you create a quiz. So right now I'm going to show you how a lesson works. The great teacher, Miss Danielle Disbrady, showed me how to do lessons on Quizizz so I can teach you guys. So this is how you would do it. You have it open just like a normal quiz. You have your code up, ready to go. You can set the settings, so it's just random names. You can have it set that the kids have to log in, so you would see exactly what their Google Classroom name is. Or you can have it set where the kids can pick their own name when they log in. So a couple different settings. I think this one's fun, so I let you guys do the random names because I did not trust Mr. Basante to put an appropriate name in, along with Mr. Leak and a couple other people that probably wouldn't put in appropriate names. So if you feel that way about your class, that's a good thing to do. You can have it set where they have to log in, or have it set that it's random names that get put in instead of something that they can choose. Something also that I just recently found out, the last session that I did, if you are doing this yourself and you have this up and ready to go, say you're off the block before and you're in your room and you're waiting for your class to come in, if you have your quizzes up and you notice, well, no one's logged in yet when I know people should be logging in, you're probably going to have to hit refresh. I didn't know that that was going to be a problem until recently because I've never opened up something and waited 20 minutes for people to log in. I usually do it right away. I usually open it up and say, okay, everyone join, where everyone joins in just like they're doing now, and it's fine. In my last session that I did, I noticed, what's going on? No one's joining in. You guys really don't want to do it? And they were like, we're all joined in, we're all joined in. I pressed refresh, and there was everybody. So you just got to be careful. Make sure that you are refreshed and you don't have it open for a while when you are doing this as the teacher. You guys are going to see it in the student perspective. So that's why we're doing this. We're going to do a lesson in the student perspective, and then we're going to do a quiz in the student perspective. And then I'm going to show you guys around the site a little bit. And that's pretty much what our PD is going to entail today. All right, we're missing a few people, but that's okay. What's nice about this is we can get started, and the code is still going to be on the top. The link can still be there. So when I get started, as you can see, up top it still says joinmyquiz.com is how you do it, and you enter that code to get there. So on your side, you guys just see this, but it's pretty much exactly like a Google slide or a PowerPoint. You have this nice little bar on the bottom. You can see how many people are in. You can jump to certain slides. You can toggle full screen. You can mute it, which is something that you'll see will come in handy later. You can exit. You can move on to each slide, or you can hide this completely. So just like a regular Google slide or PowerPoint, very similar to Create. Right, there's really nothing crazy going on here. So first thing we want to go over is the big old rookie mistake. You always want to sign in with Google. And I feel like I gotta tell this to my kids all the time, but this really goes for you guys too. Make sure you hit sign in with Google because we want everything to link together. We're a Google Suite school, so everything links together. And what's nice about Quizizz is Quizizz syncs everything with your Google Classroom. So very similar to EduElastic and a couple other things, everything is Google. There's some other things that don't sync with Google, which isn't that great, but it's really awesome when everything syncs to Google. So make sure when you sign in, you hit sign in with Google and you type in your school email and go through all the things and make sure you're signed in. So same thing with the kids. If you have your kids signing in, make sure they are signing with Google if you want it to be recorded and know exactly how they're doing. Because if they don't do that, then it's kind of just out there and you only get which data you get from them. They can't see their stuff after the fact if they're not signed in. All right, so first thing, as you can see, this is in a lesson. Yes. So, send the link, or like before, it's very simple, and you can tell the kids too. Joinmyquiz.com, super easy. You just type that in, and then it's a six digits, six numbers that you would type in to get to your quiz. So very easy to get there. or you could just send them the link. You could be like, it's all in Google Classroom. Go to the Google Classroom. Or what I've been doing very recently is just straight up sending the link in the chat. Usually I have to do it like 10 times. It's like, where's the link? And I'm like, right there. Click the link. So make sure they're in, make sure it's good. All right, so what's nice about these Quizizz lessons is they kind of do this cool thing where they hide what's going on. So this type of slide is called a title and points here. So they give you all these different things, and what they do is they hide them. So when you click next, it's just like in PowerPoint how you can say it comes next. It's a transition. So it kind of auto does it for you. So what's nice about slides is usually we can do pictures, videos, audio clips, media, text, and bullets. This one's called text and bullets. But you guys will see, and I'll show you, in Quizizz, there's something called super. And you'll see everything has a little lightning bolt next to it. Well, videos, audio clips, and special media is all lightning bolt. So in order to get to that stuff, you have to pay for it. So when you're doing this, you can do pictures, and you can do text and bullets, but that's about it. So the lessons are nice, but they're not as in-depth as if you were doing a Google slide or a PowerPoint. Right? You can't link in videos, you can't do audio clips, you can't do stuff that you could normally do, but if you're using it for more basic type of information, this is great. So we can do that kind of stuff, and I talked about this. It's pretty much exactly like a PowerPoint and Google slide, minus the little extra like videos and audio clips. And what's really nice is you can even import your PowerPoint or Google Slides to here and edit it from there. So if you already have stuff done and you're like, man, I really want to use the Quizizz questions that they have, you can import your Google Slides and add the questions. And that's actually what I'm going to talk about on my next slide. So what's really nice here is you can add your own questions that you created in Quizizz or on random quizzes that you found. So just like before, that these can be hidden, right? You can add any type of question in. It's super easy, and I know you guys can't wait to try it if you haven't tried it yet. So the next slide I'm going to show you is going to be one of those questions that you can add in. So this is the interactive aspect. It counts down for you, and you guys can jump in. So as you can see, there's music playing. You can move on. What's nice is you can mute it. If you think it's getting too loud, you can mute it. So now no one has the sound. You can make the sound lower if you think it's too loud. You can show the full question. You can see the chart view. You can see the participation view, who answered the question, who didn't answer the question. And if you think the timer's going on too long, you can end the question. Yep, it's been enough. I'm going to end the question. And what's nice about this is you can go back to the full question view and say this was a math problem. You can say, oh man, we didn't do great. So let's go back to this question, and if we have our stuff where we can draw on the screen, you can draw on the screen and do the problem. If it's English, you can say, let's talk this through, let's figure it out. Same thing for history and science. So this one was an open question for you guys. Have you ever used it before? And it looks like most people haven't, so that's good. So you're really learning for the first time here. Most people have just done the quizzes, good, and some people have done both. Awesome. So next one, same idea. It's just going to be another question. So we'll just go to it. The question would come up. Let's say I don't want to have the timer. I can get rid of the timer and just have you guys answer just the way it is. I can still have the full question up so I can talk about it as I go. Like, how do you play a quiz? I wonder how I do it. You can see the chart view to see who answered, the participation view to see actually how many people have answered out of all the people. Then if you're getting over it, you're like, all right, let's end the question. That's enough people. We need to move on to the next one. People are taking too long. We're slacking. And then you can go back and go over the problem. So you can see the leaderboard. You can skip the leaderboards. Leaderboards are nice when you're really doing the quizzes. For here, you're mostly doing this in class, so I don't think the leaderboard is really needed, but some people do like it and they bring it up. But good job. The way you start a quiz is you put in a code, right? That's what you got to do. You got to input that code. And you can jump back and forth to different slides. So I went from a question back to a slide. So this was the first interactive part. Now we're going to do the second one. So I'm going to send you guys an actual Quizizz. And most of us have either done a Quizizz, but you've never done one as a student. You've done it as a teacher. So there's the link. Wait for you guys to join in. We're going to do this. This is one that I'm giving you is called a classic Quizizz. It is totally led by you guys. not teacher-led, but you're doing it right now, right? It's not going to be for the future. It's going to be for now, right? I'm not assigning this as homework. I'm assigning this as now work. So hopefully I'm assuming that you guys are signing in. I'll send the link again. Now, raise your hand. Have people already signed into the Quizizz yet? Yeah, right? You guys have already signed in, but if you look at my screen, does it show that anyone signed in yet? No. So this is where you're like, uh-oh, what's going on? So if I hit back reload, right, something weird's happening. If I reload it, it'll do a little wheel turning. Ah, there we go. There's everybody. So I had this up for a little bit before you guys came in. So I was like, wait, something's wrong. Don't exit out of everything and think you got to redo it all. Just hit reload and everybody pops up. And I did this one the same way that I did it before. I made it be that you guys are random. I think it's a food and I don't even know, just a random word. But I think it's usually a food and something else. So you get a random name. And this one is fun because you're kind of playing against each other. So the way that I have this one set up, it's if you're making it more like a competition between the students. So there's another way, and I'll show you guys later, where it's more like Kahoot, where it's not really purely a competition. You say, okay, we're doing one question at a time. We answer this question, move on to the next one. But what makes Quizizz a little different is they have this aspect where they can kind of take it on their own. So we got about 15 people in. That's about half, not too bad. If you do want to join in later, the link is here, or you can hit the code up at the top. I'm just going to get going. So we get started. You guys will see it on your screen, and I'll go over what I see on my screen. Now, music, super loud. I'm going to mute it. That's something nice that you guys can do. You can keep it on. It is kind of soothing if you guys are into that, but sometimes I think it's a little much. So you can toggle that right at the top to mute the music if the music's playing and it's bothering you. So you don't have to mute the speakers. You can actually mute it straight on the site. And as the teacher, you can see people popping around. Like as you get one right, that person moves up. You can see their score. I can jump straight to the questions and see, okay, how are we doing on each question? I can see the accuracy bar up at the top. Right now we're getting close to 60% accuracy. Oh, just drop back down. So you'll see, how did the kids do on the test? Are they racing through it too fast? Are they taking their time so the accuracy is getting a little better? Right? You kind of see it as you go. And what's nice is you can either see everyone, you can limit it to the top 5 so the screen isn't going crazy too much. You can look at just the questions and see how they're doing on each question. You can see the average time taken for each question, the number correct, the number incorrect, all these types of things. The hardest one on this quiz, I think, is number 3. Number 3 is probably the hardest one. You guys are at number 3 already. So as you can see, there's people who are getting, it's called on fire. If you get on fire, right, you get so many right in a row, you get a power up. And when they do a power up, they can mess with the screen, they can mess with people's answers. It's kind of cool little things that you can make to make it more interactive in the class. The kids are like, oh, I want to get so many right so I can get that power up, so I can mess with people. Right? It'll make the questions shake. It'll make the screen go gray for 2 seconds. It does all these kind of cool things. Or if you think that's a little much in your class, you can toggle that off in the settings too. And I'll show you guys all that once we're finished this. You guys are doing good. About a third of the way done. Oh, moving up on accuracy, we're doing good. So you can tell, oh yeah, we're getting better as we go. We're getting a lot more right than we are wrong. So the accuracy bar is moving and grooving. Or don't really think this isn't really like a hard test. Just want to get through it. See, some people got to my last problem. That's the fun one. Last question. All right, who's going to come in first? We got a tight race going on. In this breakdown, you can easily see students who are actually working, students who are taking their time working, and students who aren't really doing much. So it's kind of nice. You're like, oh, look at that. These 3, I wonder who those are, and I'm sure we all know who we can pick out those are in our class, the ones who signed on but aren't really doing much. So it's nice. You can see really what's going on. You can tell, oh yeah, these are my kids who are always interacting, always doing it. These are my middle of the pack kids. These are my kids who take some time, or the kids who totally guess. You can really get a real view on what's happening here. And as it's going, if you said, okay, you know what, we've gone through enough, class is getting near the end, I can end it. So I'll let people answer a couple more, and then I think I am going to do that so we can move on. So, but usually, you let the kids go through, see how they do. You can exit somebody out if you think they're cheating, they're not playing right. So this person, like, oh, they're not doing it right. Do I want to remove this player? Boom. Sorry if I booted you, but you were my example. So I just booted that person because they weren't doing what they're supposed to be doing. Now they're gone. So you play on through, you get them done. Ooh, you guys are getting close to beating my other group. My other group got close to an 80. I think they were like 79, 78% accuracy. So not too bad. All right, so we got mostly there. I'm going to end it. So you can end it abruptly. Boom. So it ends. It'll tell me who won, who got second, who got third. It says it on your screens, I believe, as well. All right, so good job. These people got first, second, and third. All right, you can download the results. So what's nice about this at the end is you can really see a breakdown of how they did on the questions. So I know, oh yeah, look at this. Question 1, my kids did really well. But question 1 and question 5 were the same topic. So I can say, wait a minute, what happened? If they all got question 1 mostly right, but then really bombed question 5.
Benjamin would have done great with all of this.
What'd you say? Yeah. So you got to be careful. You could say, oh, wait, something's wrong. I got to fix this problem. So what's nice is you can go back and look and see all these different things and see what's happening. You can also go to the questions, see how much time was averagely taken. So if you have one where everyone got it right and it took 5 seconds, you're like, oh, man, maybe that was a little easy. If you have one that everyone got it wrong and they took really fast, you're like, huh, something's going on here. So maybe I got to change something. And my favorite question all the way at the bottom, oh man, some people really believe in me, huh? Did I steal this entire Quizizz from the Quizizz library? Well, guess what the answer is? True. And I say steal with, little things there because guess what? We're all teachers here. Who wants to recreate the wheel every single time we do something? I do not. And that's what I'm going to show you guys. So I'm going to exit out. We're done doing the interactive part here. So if everyone could just look back at my screen, I can show you guys what's going on here. All right, so big thing, make sure you are logged in with Google. It should say it up top here, Mr. Lesser, that's me, that's my picture. I know I'm signed in, I'm ready to go. So first thing, you open up on this page, there's a whole bunch of stuff down here. There's all these random quizzes. You can either click, there's some random ones, or you can search. So what's nice here is you can search for what you want. But before we get in there, we're all in Google Classroom, so the big thing here is this Classes button. So you want to hit Classes, and what you want to do is you want to update Google Classes. Now mine are already in here. Yours, if you've never used it before, your kids aren't in here yet. So if you hit Update Google Classes, what happens is this pops up. Now, if you have a bunch of extra classes like I do, I have this extra class, and this extra one down here, they don't do quizzes. So I only want checked the classes that I want to be working in. So make sure you have the right ones checked, hit save. What it does is it loads, and then boom, look, all my students from my classes are in here, and I'm ready to go. So once that's in there, then we're ready to work. So we go back to the Explore on the main page, and let's say you wanted to do graphing linear equations. You're like, cool, I want to make a quiz on graphing linear equations. All right, well, graphing linear equations, let's do graphing linear functions. That's pretty close. So you look at the first one here. Didn't mean to click it. We're just looking, right? I'm not clicking yet. And look what happens. It pops up over here, and I can see it all. So it's kind of like a preview. When you're on it, if you bring your mouse over, it gives you a preview of the quiz. So if I'm looking at this preview, and I'm like, this is kind of hard. I don't think I want to do this one. You're like, no, I don't like that one. Then you come down to this one, and you're like, oh, man, I like this one. But look, there's the little super button there. You can't use this one because it has super next to it. So be careful. They try and sneak it in there and all the regular stuff, right? You can't use the super. So I keep on going, and I find this one. I go through, I'm like, I really like this one. So I'm going to click it. So what happens is the quiz opens up. You can see all the questions again. And you have these options. You can start it if you like it. You can assign it if you like it. Or you can press this button right here. Here's the magic button, copy and edit. So I hit the button. What it does is it makes a copy of the quiz and it allows you to edit it. So let's take a look. We're looking at number 1 and I say, cool, I really like number 1, but it has too many options for answers. So I'm like, you know what? I'm going to edit that and I'm going to get rid of one of these answers. So there's this little trash button here, delete. I just deleted that option. So now it's only got 3 options instead of 4 options. So this is where you would also edit a question and type in the different things. You can put pictures in for answers, equations in for answers, all these different things. You can change how long. Say 3 minutes is too long. I think we should set this one to 30 seconds. Hit it for 30 seconds. They give you an option to set it for all questions. Hit save if that's what you want. Boom, I just edited that question. Now, say you like all this, but you really wanted to create your own question. You hit where it says new question. You can set up any kind that you want. Now, poll isn't really graded, so if this is like a quiz or quizzes, you're not really want to do poll. But I'm going to hit multiple choice, type in what you want. Y equals mx plus b. What is m, or what is slope? And then, okay, I put in b, m, x, y. My answer is, I hope everyone knows, maybe, m. So I click the right answer. I set it, this is an easy one, 20 seconds. Save. So there's my question. Okay, now the next biggest thing that you guys will use is called teleport. So teleport is how you find a question from another quiz that already exists. This is my favorite button. So I just stole this quiz, right? I borrowed somebody else's, copied it, made it my own. I made my own question, and then I said, you know what? Let's see what else they got out there. So here was graphing, but I also want to do some stuff with writing, right? If I'm doing some stuff together. So I type in writing linear functions. I'm like, all right, let me take a look at this one. No, that looks a little hard. I'll just do writing linear. Ooh, all right, let's take a look at this one. Perfect. This is exactly what I was talking about. I just did one with M. So now it's saying, let me do one with B. So I hit add. Boom. Now it was just added to my quiz. You can leave it as is. You can change the time just like before. You can edit it, all that good stuff. So your quiz is not ready to go until you hit this publish button up top. So you have to hit publish. If you don't hit publish, it's not saved and you can't use it. Okay, so here's what I was talking about with Super. So something I'm going to show you is called assigning homework. Now, the problem with this, I know some of us like to kind of get above and beyond here and assign stuff way far in advance. Now, without Super, you cannot assign things for as long as you like. You have to set something for a permanent time to be done. So if I'm assigning this quiz I just made as homework, I have to click my deadline. I can't go further than the Monday the 22nd. So I'm like, okay, you know what? If I want them to get it done by Friday, let me have it due Friday afternoon, 2:15, perfect. So if you want to assign this to your classes, you hit select here. You select your classes. Let's say, no, you know what? I want it just to be this class. You can even pick specific students if you think that only certain ones will go to it. So you type it in here, whatever you want to call it. You can change the scheduling, but really, all you're going to do is hit select, hit that class, hit next. And it's not done until you hit assign. But if you scroll down here, these are the important settings. Let's say you're actually making this a quiz that you want the kids to take. You have to change this unlimited to a certain number. So if I want them to take this one time, they're only going to take this quiz one time. Same thing with showing the answers. If you don't want the answers to be there, if you don't want them to be there at all, if you don't want to use power-ups, right? This is the time where you can turn all these off. You can toggle the timer on and off, shuffle the questions, all these things to kind of mess around with and make it your own quiz. And at the very bottom, you'll see this thing called meme set. I don't know if you guys realize, but when you were taking it, if you got a problem right or wrong, a picture popped up. So you could have it that a picture pops up or a picture doesn't pop up. So this is called a meme that comes up. I think fellow kids is pretty funny. Some funny things pop up if you get it right, and some funny things pop up if you get it wrong. Keep it interesting with the kids. So you can select it. Now you're ready to go. Now you hit assigned. I just assigned it to those kids. So it's there. You can see the kids are there. They're ready to take it. And you can end the assignment. You can print it. You can download it, which is actually kind of nice. So something that I've done when I'm out, what I'll do is I'll assign my quizzes to my virtual quiz. And if I don't have any computers or anything in the room, I will print out the quizzes, to give it to the kids to do in person when they're actually here for our hybrid world that we live in now. If you want to find that quiz that you just made, it should be in your library. There it is, right? Graphing linear functions, that's the one that we just did. You're like, you know what? I really do want to print that. You can hit print, and that's where you would print it. If you want to copy and edit it again, if I wanted to make another one and change some problems, say if I wanted to make a review, this could be my review. I hit copy and edit, and I make another one into my actual test or quiz. You can save it to files. You can just like them. But I think the main easiest way is when you find something you like, you make it your own and start editing it. One last thing I'm going to show you is the lessons. So I'll show you the one that I made. Very, very easy, right? They show up. You can either do start a live lesson, which we just did before. You can assign it as homework, same as before. Last thing I wanted to show you, when you do start a live lesson, there's the option for classic and instructor-based. So classic is what we did, where everyone's all on their own. You can set it, and these are new things actually, you can set it to teams, where you can say, okay, which class am I talking about? How many number of teams do I want? 2 or 3 teams? And the same thing, you can toggle all these extra things at the end. And then you can continue to keep on going. What we did was classic. Classic is the normal quizzes that when it first came out, right? It's a free-for-all. People use power-ups if you want. You can toggle them on and off. And the last one is test. This is where the kids have to log in, right? There's nothing crazy going on. It's a serious test that they take, right? They go on, they see a problem, they take the test. So you can use this instead of using Edulastic or things like that. If you think that quiz is a little easier, it's something different where you can assign the actual test or quiz that you'd want to use. And that's pretty much it. You know, what's nice about Quizizz is there's so many that are made. All you have to do is search and find your own, copy it, make it your own, and add and edit all you want, right? Or you can sit there and recreate the wheel, whatever works for you. So that's pretty much it. You guys have any questions for me? All right. Thanks. If not, you guys are good to go. See you guys. Have a great day.